Hi, everyone. I'm Rashida Kamal.
And I'm Lydia.
We're both graduate students in the Interactive Telecommunications program at NYU. For this challenge, we've been thinking about what election coverage can look like in augmented reality. Today, we're going to be looking at what inspired the idea we pursued, the concept we came up with, and our research and playtests. And then we'll take a deep dive into the player journey of our augmented reality app. Finally, we'll end by looking at the possible next steps. To start, we looked at the ways the Times and other news organizations currently cover the election, focusing on live events such as political debates. We also took inspiration from the Times' other AR work and data visualizations about elections and other topics. From here, we narrowed our concept to a tool to improve the political debate watching experience. For example, we wanted readers to be able to easily ask questions such as, how does the speech of one candidate compare to another? Are candidates saying something substantial? And how do my opinions compare to others? The diagram on this slide shows a prototype for the shared tabletop AR experience. The interface allows each participant to evaluate and capture moments from the debate and to characterize those moments along different dimensions, from substantive to fluffy, or from polarizing to unifying. We wanted this tabletop experience to appear in any typical viewing location, a coffee table or a dining table of viewer homes, or even bars or other public places. We wanted to consider not only what is possible now, but also what might exist 5 or 10 years in the future. And to implement that vision, we decided to build for digital tablets, which have larger screens than mobile phones, but are still more commonly used than AR spectacles.
So here's an overview of the process we've gone through to prototype and test our debate watching app. We organized our playtesting schedule around the Democratic debates and did 3 in total. During the February 15th debate, we began with a paper prototype to simply test the interaction of placing moments on a grid while watching the debate live. We had 9 people participate, and an example of what one person said is, "It made me more engaged in listening to the responses opposed to how I would normally." This was really exciting to hear, and we moved forward with making a simple AR iPad app version for the February 25th debate. To create the board and interaction in AR, we used Unity and AR Foundation with an image marker. We had 15 playtesters this time, placing virtual cubes on a virtual board using UI sliders and buttons. We also had the New York Times live debate coverage up on a screen to test the engagement with live chat. One player told us, "Recognizing that I could get a gauge from the cubes, what I am thinking versus what other people are thinking was interesting." We had been simulating networking by having playtesters share iPads, but for the March 15th debate, we added real networking to our AR app using Google's Firebase. We held a virtual debate watching party over Zoom with live video and chat going while we tested the iPad with our roommates. We received feedback that was helpful for thinking about next steps for finalizing the app. In particular, one of our roommates told us, "If I were engaging with this afterwards, it would be cool to look back and see, how did the candidates rank?" So here's a close-up of the version of the app in action in my living room. And because this is networked, some of the cubes you're seeing here were placed by Rashida in her living room. For this prototype, we also added a filtering feature to highlight cubes by topic, which you can see here. This slide shows all moments related to healthcare highlighted with a sphere. From this last playtest, we identified several next steps in order to create the final version of our app, which we'll go through now.
Using the feedback from both experts and our playtesters, we began to imagine the interface of the app. In the next few slides, you'll see how we've structured the interface to orient the user, simplified key interactions, and added the possibility of a live chat that integrates the Times' current coverage. When the user opens the app, they're greeted by an onboarding screen. First, they're oriented towards a toggle, which allows them to access the 2 available modes in the app, the live chat mode and the data viz mode. The user is made aware of both its function and its location in the app. Next, the user is introduced to 3 key buttons that appear in data viz mode: to place the cubes, to filter the cubes, and to view tabletops from other viewing parties. Again, the user is oriented towards the location of the buttons in the app. Next, we see what the app looks like in data viz mode. In this mode, the AR tabletop will appear where it sees the Times logo image marker. The user can place different cubes by using the Place Cube button to select a candidate, and then press directly onto the tabletop arena to select the location. Let's take a deeper look at the tabletop visualization.
So similar to our prototype, each user sees the board on their own device. It's about the size of a Scrabble board, and the middle area indicated here is where the interaction happens. To establish virtual presence, each player is represented in the arena with a star avatar. Based on user feedback, we've simplified the board to have 4 of what we are calling buckets rather than granular axes. The icons in the corners represent the same scales of fluff to substance currently viewed on top of the board, and polarizing and unifying currently viewed on the side of the board. So to place a cube, let's say I hear Elizabeth Warren answering a question about healthcare, and I think what she's saying is both substantive and unifying. I could tap the lower right quadrant to add a cube there. As cubes are placed and the gameplay progresses, patterns begin to emerge. Although they are not as granular, this is where insights can be provided afterwards or even in real time. For example, an interaction we are planning is to allow players to tap piles for summary statistics and analysis, such as breakdown by candidate or showing filters by topic.
Jumping back into the interface view, we can now see the live chat mode. The comments from you and other viewers from your party appear in the center of the screen, with viewers' names noted below each speech bubble. Comments from New York Times reporters are accompanied by an additional icon. Like other live streaming services, you can add simpler expressions of feelings using just emojis. For future iterations of this app, we'd like to add some visual juice to show how animated filtering and highlighting can work. We also see opportunities to add natural language processing driven data enrichment to the content of debate speeches. And from our user feedback, we think it would be beneficial for future versions to have post-debate visualizations that highlight patterns that have emerged over the course of the debate. We also believe the app can be abstracted for use in other live events. This slide here shows 2 other potential applications, sports on the left and TV shows on the right. Sports fans could use the app to categorize memorable moments and their reactions during the game, and TV show enthusiasts could plot character development and story arcs. We're pretty excited about the development of this idea so far, and we'd like to thank a few individuals for their help throughout the process. From the Times, Amelia, Yuri, and Dali, and from ITP, Jared Thorpe and Sarah Rothberg, and of course the folks at the NYC Media Lab. Thank you for your feedback and support.